Alright, I'm gonna build you a sales system that you can use today to get sales systems customers for yourself. And you can also repackage it and sell it to any B2B business for like 3 to 5K. I'll show you the tech stack. We'll also build it live. Obviously, you can plug it directly into your business, but I would prefer that you guys watch the video so you can kind of like understand how it works so you can tweak it later on if you want. So if that's something that you guys want to work on, then this video is for you. Alright, so in this system, you can type in any search, for example, recruitment companies or like software companies, right? You add the company size for example, if you want 11 to 50, 51 to 100, 200, whatever you want. You're also going to add the location, for example, United States, UK, Europe, whatever you'd like. And at the end, you'll get validated, ready to use contacts with also AI copies that don't sound cringe, right? 101 copies, right? So I'm going to walk you through exactly how it works. We're going to build it live, just like I said. But first, let's talk about the tech stack, right? So the tech stack that you're going to need is basically a form, any form, right? So we're just going to use a simple free form. You can use Google form, Tally form, Typeform. We're just going to use Tally because it's free and you can essentially get unlimited form responses. You're going to need like a Google Sheets template. Obviously, all you got to do is basically just to make a file, copy, right? And you're just going to copy it because I'm basically going to show you the fields that's going to be in this Google Sheets, etc. So you can just copy and paste it. And then you're going to need Apify. Apify is basically like a marketplace for scrapers. We're going to use like a scraper there, like a tool that extracts the data from LinkedIn, because you might be thinking, Saad, well, when I type in, for example, recruitment companies, software companies, well, where does the system actually get the data? Well, it gets it from LinkedIn, right? LinkedIn is like the biggest B2B hub where you can find companies, people, etc. So we're going to use Apify, which is, like I said, the marketplace for scrapers. And we're going to use a scraper that I'm going to share with you guys, okay? Obviously, you're going to need the starter plan on Apify because obviously when you want to run it, you want to get thousands of companies. So if you have like a free plan, you're only going to get like 50, I believe, right? So Apify starter plan is needed. Or you're also going to need an email finder, right? An email finder is basically like an email enrichment platform. And they have like this cool endpoint, right? That allows you to kind of like just give them, for example, a company name or like a domain, and they can find the right decision maker, which is going to be either the CEO, marketing manager, whatever you'd like. And they're going to give you their contact details, their emails, etc. Right? So we're going to use an email finder, and you're going to use your AI model of choice, whatever AI that you'd like. You can use Gemini, Claude, OpenAI, whatever you'd like, right? And obviously instantly, right? At the end of the flow, well, at the end of the system, we're just going to plug it to Instantly, which is basically like a cold email software. If you guys don't know, it's one of the best cold email softwares, right? It's way better than Smartly in my experience, but it's just my experience, right? Because I've tried both. I've tried Plus Vibe, Instantly, Smartly, then I just found Instantly the best because I resonate with the founders. They're not as nerdy as the other service providers. They're more concerned about making money, right? Because I'm assuming you guys are watching this. You don't want to nerd out on the details. You just want to sell these systems. You just want to build up a profitable internet business, sales and agency, whatever you'd like, right? So that's the whole point, right? That's why I use Instantly because, like I said, they're more about like making money instead of like nerding out on bullshit, right? Now, let's talk about who pays for the tech stack when you are selling it standalone, when you want to sell it hands off. Now, I've experimented with both models, right? When I basically just pitch higher and I kind of like just bundle everything into my pricing. And I've also experienced when I essentially just get a prospect or like a lead to pay for the tech stack that I just mentioned. And in my experience, you're going to get a lot of friction if you tell them, okay, the pricing of the system, or you're going to invest like, for example, 5K, and you're also going to have to invest in the tech stack, which is the backend or the tools, right? In my experience, right, it adds unnecessary friction because think about it. They were just paid you like 5K and you're going to tell them, okay, pay for like software, for example, like $300 or $400, right? So my recommendation, because I always want the best for you guys and I want you guys to be profitable because like I said, I tried both models. I would just bundle everything into my pricing and just price higher, right? I would just sell them the hands-off system and I'll just eat the cost myself, right? Because one, it allows you to price higher, and two, it minimizes the friction because you want to get paid as easy as possible, as frictionless as possible, and as quickly as possible, right? You don't want to like go through this rigmarole of like telling them, okay, here's the 5K you're gonna have to pay, and also you're gonna have to pay for the tech stack. It just doesn't make any sense. It's just misaligned incentives. You want to align the incentives, right? If that makes sense. So what you want to do is you want to like avoid annoying a prospect. And the best example that I found is like, it's like selling someone a toy, but telling them they need to go buy the battery somewhere else. Think about it. If you were like, if you were put yourself in the prospect's place, or like prospect's POV, let's say you want to like buy a system from someone, like from an operator, right? Well, and you paid him 5K and now you have to pay for the tool, right? It just doesn't feel right. But if you include everything inside your price, it feels easier or more complete. They don't have to think, that's one, and they don't have to shop. And most don't really want to learn the new tech. Some are not going to be tech savvy, some will. So you just want to be as profitable as possible. That's my point, right? And because you're covering all the tools for them, you can charge more, right? Just like a restaurant charges more for a meal because they buy all the ingredients for you, right? That's why, like, for example, you want to like prepare like a pasta, and it's going to be a fraction of the cost where you're going to pay in like a restaurant. But they bought the ingredients for you. They did everything for you. So that's why they're able to charge like 3 times more, like 4 times more. So the client gets the peace of mind and you get to charge a higher price. Okay. But obviously, if you want to like experiment with both models, you have my blessing. Just go ahead, right? But it's just kind of like my recommendation and based on my experience, what I've tried in the market, right? So step 1 is we need a form, okay? So we're just going to go to Tally, okay, which is tally.so. I already have like a form here. I have like a daily accountability form, etc. So I just signed up, which is a free account, by the way, right? Let me just show you so you can kind of like just see. So upgrade a plan. So as you can see, this is just a free plan. You don't need the paid plan, right? All you got to do is you want to click on create a new form. Okay, just for example, we'll name it high ticket system, sales system, form inquiry. So all you got to do is you want to click on press enter to start from scratch. And you want to click on this plus button. You want to add like a block. So what do we want, right? We want to just put in, for example, recruitment. Okay. So we want what? A short text, right? So for example, we can name this what industry you want to go for, right? And then we're going to add another plus button and we want the head count, company head count. So what we want to do is we're just going to use a short answer here, insert. Oh, actually, no. Let me delete this. We need to add, when I click on this plus button again, short answer, what we want is what's the company's, for example, 11 to 50, 51 to 100. And then we're also going to add another one, which is we're going to click on this plus button and we want the location, right? So click on this plus button, short answer, insert. What's the location? So whether it's United States, etc. Okay, so that's all we want, right? Yeah. Okay. So high ticket sales form inquiry, that's it. So you want to publish. So there we go. Obviously, you can add kind of like your logo, whatever you'd like here. Can make this a little bit more beautiful, right? But we're not going to spend time on customizing this, right? So all I got to do is copy it and you will see that I can essentially just get my form right here, which is very, very simple. Okay, so now since I have the form, well, let's check this, right? Let's do like a little check mark with the green. Done. Okay, that's a really beautiful check mark, right? Now we need a Google Sheets template. Okay, but before we do that, let's just go to make.com so we can test the system. Okay, so we're going to go to make.com. Obviously, make.com is kind of like the glue, right? I like make.com. Obviously, you can use NA10, right? But you guys know me, I like Make. It's just more visual, right? And it just allows me to do things very easily, very quickly. I've sold many systems in Make more than NA10, to be honest. And Make.com is just like the best. Like when I started with this business model, I used to sell them in Make, and the Make is just way too visual. When you kind of like share your screens up for a prospect, show them kind of like the system. It's not like NA10. Like NA10, when you show like a prospect and anything, they kind of like just squint their eyes. It's not that visual like Make. Make is just kind of like less intimidating, right? So all I gotta do right now is look for tally. So tally is here. So you're gonna notice that we have watch new responses. So this module is gonna watch for any responses that we're gonna send from this form, which is pretty cool. All I gotta do, click on this add and click on add again. And let's, for example, name this, let's just copy this and then paste this here. And then easy, we're just gonna authorize, right? Click on accept. That's why I like Make. It's just very, very straightforward. It allows you to actually make money, right? So if I go to a form, I'm gonna get access to it here, save. Perfect. That's all I need. And click on save, right? So obviously if I run once, nothing is gonna happen, but only after I essentially just launch the form. For example, if I type in recruitment and for example, 11 to 51, what's the location? United States. So if I type in, if I click on submit, I'm going to get it here, which is awesome. Right, I'm going to get the fields here, right? Recruitment 11 to 51, etc. Well, now we can essentially just launch Epify or launch the scraper automatically. So step 2 is you want to go to Epify, right? And once you sign up, right, you want to go to console. And we're going to be using this scraper. It's called LinkedIn Company Search No Cookies. So all you got to do is basically just put in, for example, your filters. This is how you do it manually. But for example, you go to optional, you can read query to search LinkedIn companies. For example, marketing. You type in marketing. Location filter, United States. Scroll down. You can add, like I said, 1 to 10, 51 to 200, 200, 200, and 1 and 500. Obviously, you have to follow exactly the 1 to 10, 51 to 200, 11 to 50. So I believe we did 11 to 51. So it has to be 11 to 50, not 51. So you got to respect the numbers here, obviously. So we just put 11 to 50. Now, all you got to do is you want to scroll up and you see this JSON. Now you just want to copy it. Okay. So you want to copy this. First of all, we need to go to plus button. We want to add Epify and we want to run an actor. Okay. All you got to do is you want to click on this plus button and then you want to go to settings. You want to click on API integrations, and then you just want to copy your API key. And then you want to go to connection type, Epify API token, paste in your API key. And then let's just name this, or just refresh. Let's copy this name. So we have like a consistent name, right? So high ticket SS form, right? So I want to go to actors, LinkedIn company search is the one. And all I got to do is want to go back. You want to go to JSON, copy this, and then paste it here. Now, obviously, we got to run it again. Let me refresh again. And then let me just unlink this and I'm going to run once. And I believe we forgot something. Let me check. Oh, we need how many records we want, right? We need how many records. So that's fine. We can edit this. So we want to add another one here and we're going to add a number. So how many companies we want. So insert how many companies you want. And then you want to publish again, right? Let's refresh. So what industry is put recruitment 11 to 50. And location is put United States. How many records? Let's just put 100 again. So submit, obviously I'm going to get it here. Awesome. So now all I got to do is just connect the right fields that I got. So company size is going to be what? Company size, which is what? This is the one. And then United States is going to be lowercase, obviously because we need to respect the naming conventions and how many items we want, which is 100. So now we can name this run scraper. And then I'm going to have to run once again and then refresh. And then I'm going to have to resend it here. So the cool part about Tally is you get unlimited responses, right? So we can essentially just keep testing until we finish, right? Which is awesome. If you want to use like a type form, they allow you like just 10, right? So 11, I believe it's 11 to 50. And then how many record and location United States, how many companies we want, submit, boom. And then we launched it. So now you will check that if I go to runs, boom, just add it. So you will notice that I'm getting here, the status is running. So scraped company, scraped, awesome. So if I click on this, So we get all the companies here. So code recruitment, which is awesome, 11 to 50. So if you guys wondering how they do this, essentially they just put recruitment here. Boom. And what they do is they essentially scraper. You go to all filters, and it filters by companies, and they essentially just use this. This is how they do it. This is how they use LinkedIn's UI. So let's go here. So max limit reached. Sweet. So I got 100. Awesome. So this is going to be kind of like the part one. So part one, which is going to be get form responses, launch scraper or launch system. This is going to be part one. Now let's just save this online, and then let's just create a new scenario that's going to essentially just get the responses, not the response. This is essentially going to get the data that we just scraped. So it was very easy, very simple, as you guys can see. So it took us 35 seconds, right? So now this is going to be Epify. So we're going to type in, we're going to look for Epify here. It's going to be watch actor runs. Okay, same thing. I'm going to add another connection here, which is I believe it's high ticket form inquiry. This is the one. And then you want to go to actor, and this is the one. And this is going to be watch. And then let's just copy. Oh, let's add a logo. Really nice logo, right? Watch form inquiry responses. Sweet. And we're just going to save this. Let me check if I am actually recording. Sweet. I am recorded. And it's going to be a pretty long video. So I got to keep in mind if my camera just dies, because it dies at like 30-minute mark. I'm using the Canon M50 EOS. So this is going to be watch responses. And if you're wondering what kind of mic I use the Samsung Q2. Watch responses. Okay. So not watch responses. Watch scraper. Watch scraper. Yeah. Very simple. Now, since I already ran it, well, I need to get the data, right? How do I do it? Well, in order for me to watch a scraper, I'll need to relaunch it again. Now, we don't want to do that. So we can get the data, and then at the end, just plug it. So you want to go to Epify, get to dataset items. And you will notice I'm going to get the dataset ID. So copy it and simply plug it in here. And in terms of, let me just put one. We're going to leave it empty at the end. So now I can essentially just unlink this, put this here, run once. Boom, I got the data, which is exactly what I want. Now, let me just put myself in here so you guys can actually see what I'm doing. And then what comes after this sound? Well, now we're just going to continue the enrichment, right? So this is going to be get scraped data. Okay, so now I got the company name, I got the website, I got everything. This is really good. I got the description of the company, I got the employee counts, I got everything. So now all I got to do is just use an email finder to find the right decision maker. So I'm going to look for an email finder here, and it's going to be, this is the endpoint, search for decision maker's email. So now I'm going to go to an email finder. Like I said, they have really good endpoints. I'm going to go to app, and then I'm going to go to API. I'm going to copy my API key. All you got to do is go add, save, and then just name this high ticket system form inquiry, save. So I want to go to search by domain, and this is the domain, which is website. The category is we want the owner, okay? And obviously you can put whatever you want, since like there's engineering, finance, IT, whatever you'd like, right? Which is awesome. I click on save, and let's just put just click on run once. Oh, that was quick. I believe they already had this in their database. Sweet. So I got the email, which is awesome. I get the person's full name, job title, etc. So this is going to be find top men, which is CEOs, top men. Sweet. So now I can essentially just finish my enrichment, clean the company names, because you guys can see Esanda Recruitment. Now, someone who works there doesn't say it's Esanda Recruitment. They say it's Esanda, right? So we want to essentially kind of like clean the company names using AI, because the system is going to be automated, and is like the data has to be cleaned, clean the companies. Highly recommend you guys always clean the company names from LLC, LTD, etc. Because there's a bunch of records. I would assume there's LLC, LTD, long names. So like I said, just going back to our overview. So we're going to continue after this. I'm going to add another. That is really good check mark. Another time, right? Another one here, which is an email finder. Now we need our AI model of choice. Okay. So all we got to do is add, I'm going to add Azure in my case. I like Azure. You can use, like I said, any AI model that you want. I'm going to use GPT-4o, and I'm going to tell AI, you must return the cleaned company name from name, strip away LLC, LTD, or any long naming conventions the company uses. Output the finalized clean company name an employee might use within the company. For example, let's just give it myoprocess.inc is myoprocess. And then we're going to give it an example here. The best way to train AI model is give an example from the data you already got. Isanda recruitment is going to be Isanda. Okay, output the finalized result with no additional text. Sweet. And click on save. I'm going to add a filter here. Obviously, only if email exists. Found, ? Save. And then let's just get scraped data. And then now we got Isanda. Sweet. So it is going to be clean companies. Sweet. So now we got the companies. Well, we need to generate some sort of AI personalization. Again, same thing. I'm going to go to Azure and I'm going to share with you guys a prompt that's excellent. It's going to help you guys a ton. It's non-service level and it's going to be, it's kind of like, you use something called inference. It's not those crazy AI personalizations. I noticed your hair is transplant. I noticed you pet your dog last Monday, right? Nobody cares. So I'm going to go to a 7-figure prompt, which is like a prompt that I share with people in my community. I'm going to share also with you kind of like the prompt here. So what do I want? I want this one. Yeah. 101 copy. Return only the format. Sell company name, been in industry/niche, sincere, clearly conventional inference. So what is conventional inference? Which is it must sound like something you'd say talking to a friend, not something you'd write on LinkedIn. Keep it short, human, obvious, example of perfect tone, know how to find the right engineers. Must be doing something right with tough roles. Clearly good at landing repeat clients. Seems like people trust you with the hard stuff. Seems very human, right? So all I got to do is just copy this prompt, paste it here, and I'm going to add founded year. Okay. The only thing that's annoying with Make is we cannot, actually we can. What am I saying? Let me make this a little bit bigger. Sweet. So return only this formats, and we need the company data. Okay, the company data. So we're gonna add company name. We're gonna feed in the clean company name, and then founded year. There we go. 2008. I'm gonna feed in the employee count, which is 7 here. And description, which is we got already already got the description here. So description. Sweet. So now I can kind of like just save this. Awesome. And check this out. Saw Isanda has been in e-gaming since 2006. Clearly good at keeping clients around. Curious what this Isanda is. So what do they recruit actually? E-gaming? Very interesting niche. Gambling facilities and casinos. Oh, relationship with candidates. It's a recruitment agency in the casino and facility. Give that some thoughts. So you kind of like just find these industries, right? Like who would have thought recruitment within the casinos? Because obviously they need casinos. So guys always say recruitment is one of the best niches because there's billions of sub niches within the recruitment niche, right? Because there's like people need workers, right? And within any agency, I don't know, I don't care if it's aerospace, I don't know, selling ice, they need workers, right? So this is going to be 101 copy. All right. So now I got everything. Well, the last step is basically adding into a Google Sheets, right? So I'm gonna have to create a Google Sheets, right? So I'm gonna go to sheets.new and I'm gonna look at this data that I have and I'm gonna dump everything, right? So I'm gonna get the full name and I'm gonna put company, email. I'm gonna add company. I'm gonna add person LinkedIn, company LinkedIn, company description, company website, job title, employee size, year founded. Can add everything that we want. Okay, so let me make this geese obviously the best font on the planet Earth. All right, so this is gonna be to get cell system template copy. So essentially what you want to do is you want to go to file, make a copy, actually file, and make a copy. So it's kind of like my SOP for you, right? So this is what you want to do. File, make a copy. All right, so I'm going to make this a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. I'm going to use my favorite color, which is yellow. And all I got to do right now is go to Sheets. Yes, so Sheets, and it's going to be add a row. So let me zoom out. So I'm going to go to Spreadsheet ID. Obviously, you want to have to click on Add, sign in with Google, just plug in your right account here. I'm using, I believe this is the one. Yeah. Continue. So I want to continue here and let me check if it's actually the right account. Go back, go to Spreadsheet ID, and all you got to do is just copy this name. Paste this here. Now we got it. You will get it. Sheet name is going to be sheet 1 because if you go here, it's sheet 1, right? See this sheet 1? And then let's go back. And then now I got everything. So the full name obviously is going to be the full name of the person that we just found. Dennis. The email is their email. The company name is what? The claim company name. Person's LinkedIn is person LinkedIn URL. Company LinkedIn, which is company LinkedIn. Company description is obviously description. And then company websites, we're going to get it from website or like domain. Job title, obviously we get the job title from here, which is pretty sweet. Under CEO, company size, it's employee count. Employee count 7. And then founded year founded, which is 2006. So now all I gotta do is just run once and I will have it right here. Right. So all I gotta do is make this a little bit as resizing the row, specify row height, make this just like this and remove this. And I'm gonna put this as an, let's use this. That looks bad. Yeah, this looks good. I believe this looks good. Yeah. So now I got the full name. I got everything, right? I got the person's name. I got the email. Everything looks good, right? So now all I got to do is kind of like just run everything, right? But before I do this, I'm going to have to name this. Add prospects. Oh yeah, we forgot one more thing, the copy. So I'm going to have to add final one-on-one message. Geese, same thing. And I'm going to have to rerun the entire thing. So I'm going to refresh. And then at the end, I'm going to add the one-on-one message, which is here. Let's run it again and then check this out. So I'm going to get it here. Let me delete this. All right. Awesome. So now I got everything here. Okay. I believe that's pretty much it. Well, I got to add to instantly, right? So I'm going to have to add to instantly Well, obviously you can just download the list as download and add it to instantly, but you can also like add the lead in instantly, like by adding like a module is going to be create lead, right? But before we do this, let's just name this step 2, which is going to be to get data, enrich, and plug and finish, or enrich and finish flow. That's it. All right, let's do something very cool. Let's add status. And then we're going to make this geese again. So we can track and avoid duplicates. So status is going to be here, check mark here. So what I'm going to do is add prospects, and we're going to add, refresh this, look for a check mark. So let's just use this one. Status, I'm going to paste this here. Now it's way better. Let me run it again. Great. Sweet. So add prospects. Now the last step is I'm going to add to instantly. So instantly create a lead, right? So all you got to do is just add instantly here. You can go to instantly and then you can create a new campaign here. So I'm going to go to campaigns and I'm just going to name this, for example, high ticket sales system, and then continue. So I will get it right here by going to campaign ID and refreshing, right? So there we go. The email is email here. Personalization is the copy. The website. Last name, we need the last name of the person or the first name. So it's going to split the make.com formula, split based of a space. And then we're going to get two. Same thing, we're going to get one now. Company name cleaned, which is Isanda. Do we have the phone? Well, actually, we do have the phone. Awesome. So we can just plug this here too. We can also add it here. But if I run once again, obviously I'm going to have to add this again here. As you can see, added. So if we go to status, obviously we have everything. Right, sweet. So add prospect to instantly. Awesome. So let's save this. And now we essentially can run everything, right? So by going here and plug in everything here, and all we got to do is get dataset ID, which is default dataset ID here, full dataset ID. Remove the limits, keep it empty, save everything, auto align, everything looks good to me. You want to click on this schedule immediately, save again. Let's go back, keep this here, same thing here. Everything looks good to me. Let's double check. Oh yeah, search query. We forgot to add one more thing, which is search query right here. See, highly recommend you always double check. Save this immediately as data arrives again. Save again. Go back. Everything looks good. Let's delete all of this, right? And then let's just refresh. And obviously, let's just put, for example, what industry we want to go for. I don't know, like, let's just put software. Headcount, let's just follow the exact same rule that we have. So we can get whatever we want, right? So for example, 51 to 200, right? 51 to 200. So we can put 51 to 200. And location, let's just put United States. How many do we want? We're just going to put one, submit, boom, done. So obviously, if I go on top, and I will see that the third one is running, right? Obviously, once that's done, I'm going to get it right here and I'm going to continue. So let's go back, 12. And all we got to do now is just wait. So the system is fully automated, right? So 55, 76. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Done. So now we're going to send it here. Done. And done again, right? Get into data. Obviously, it's found. We're going to continue. If it's not found, we're just going to discard it. And I obviously put 100 records there, right? Done. Sweet. I'm going to have to... The annoying thing about sheets is I don't like this bold in color, right? Keep it on top. Hunter Steel. We got the company name, company description, saw smoke ball, been in legal software since 2011, clearly figured out how to make law firms run smoother. Right. We also got the lead added here, Hunter Steel. And let's check the second one. Obviously, saw safety chains, been in food and beverage manufacturing software since 2011, clearly know how to keep operations running smoothly. So I'm getting all the data. All right. Now I'm just going to stop this so I don't piss away all my email Finder credits. And as you can see, we just added everything here, right? Everything looks good to me, right? So I'm going to leave you the blueprints and description like always. That's how you build it, right? Now you know you have everything, right? You're simply just going to plug it, or you can follow along and build it from scratch. That way you kind of like just understand the moving parts, the modules, etc., which is a really good thing. All right, so hopefully you guys found value in this video. And like I always say, get out there, take action. I believe in you. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.